Well, good afternoon. Thanks for tuning into the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us start the news bulletin with the headlines. Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day following opposition disruption over multiple issues, including Kaveri. Chairman adjourns House after appealing to members to allow House to function on the anniversary of Parliament attack. Lok Sabha also adjourns for the day. Tributes to martyrs of Parliament attack in both houses. Vice President, Prime Minister and Lok Sabha Speaker lead dignitaries in paying floral tributes at plaque in Parliament House premises. K. Chandrasekhar Rao to take oath as Telangana Chief Minister in a short while from now. Congress likely to announce Chief Ministers of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan today. Rahul Gandhi authorized to take decision. Supreme Court direction to state governments to modify prison manuals asks them to ensure right to prisoners, including access to mental health professionals for those on death row. An Interpol red corner notice against absconding businessman Mehul Choksi. Notice against Choksi on request of CBI in connection with the multi-crore Punjab National Bank fraud. First up, news from Parliament. Rajya Sabha has been adjourned for the day. Soon after ministers laid papers on the table of the House, several members raised multiple issues and trooped to the well of the House. The chairman said that he has received 4 notices for suspension of rules but is disallowing them. Opposition members continue to disrupt proceedings by sloganeering, after which the chairman said that on the anniversary of the Parliament terror attack, it will not send a right message if members don't allow Parliament to function.
Today only, just now, we all have paid tributes to the 9 people who have given their life to protect us, to protect the Parliament. And we don't allow the Parliament to function. This is not fair. I appeal to all of you. I have allowed 2 o'clock connotation. If you don't want, I will adjourn the House for the day. I don't want these scenes to be seen on this day at least. On this day, I don't want these scenes to be good.
And despite his appeals, the sloganeering continued, after which the chairman adjourned the House till Friday, 14th of December.
I would like to urge upon the members, at least please allow the House today. Wrong message will go. 9 people have given their life to protect us. The House is adjourned to meet at 14th. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
According to sources, the reason for the adjournment for the day was that the chairman was not in favor of protracted disruptions and repeated adjournments on a day when 9 people were martyred defending Parliament from the terror attack in 2001. The chairman shared his concern with leaders at a meeting after the adjournment. And before the Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day, it paid glowing tributes to the martyrs who laid down their lives during the attack on Parliament on 13th of December 2001.
13th December 2018 marks the 17th anniversary of the dastardly terror attack on the Parliament House. I am sure the whole House will join me in condemning the incident in unequivocal terms and reiterate our firm resolve to fight terrorism in all its forms and rededicate ourselves to protect the sovereignty and integrity of our nation. 2 parliamentary security staff, 5 Delhi police personnel, a woman constable of the Central Reserve Police Force, 1 gardener of the CPWD, and a camera person of the ANI were all martyred. By their selfless act, these martyrs set an example of indomitable courage and outstanding devotion to duty. On this fateful day, let us remember the supreme sacrifice of our brave hearts who were steadfast in their resolve to protect the temple of democracy. I request the members to raise in their places and observe silence as a mark of respect to the memory of those who lost their lives in the tragedy.
And Lok Sabha was adjourned thrice on Thursday following protests by members from various political parties on multiple issues. As soon as the question hour began, after the lower house observed 2-minute silence on the anniversary of the terror attack on Parliament in 2001, it was adjourned briefly following protests by the members of various political parties who were demanding a JPC on the Rafale deal, Ram Temple in Ayodhya and Kaveri issue. Members belonging to the Congress, Shiv Sena and the AIA-DMK trooped into the well shouting slogans. As the din continued, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan adjourned the House for 11:20 a.m. And after the House assembled with the protest continuing, the Speaker adjourned the House till noon. Later, Lok Sabha was adjourned for the day following the din that ensued. Now, despite a repeated request from the Speaker to curb the noise, opposition MPs continued sloganeering. Our colleague Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from Parliament. Akhilesh, Rajya Sabha chairman was indeed not in favor of, repeated disruptions, repeated adjournments, especially on a day when the Parliament was attacked this day in the year 2001. But, it also means that there is a huge legislative agenda now that is piling up, and we have almost a month of a winter session, considering that it is going to be a huge task for the government to continue with the legislative agenda ahead.
Yeah, normally, Aswarya, what happens that when Parliament is in session, various political parties try to settle their own scores and try to showcase their, causes in Parliament so that the people in their states can also see that, yes, they are fighting for their cause. And, Rajya Sabha is witnessing, since yesterday, AIA-DMK is trying to portray one issue of Kaveri and in competition, DMK is also trying to showcase. And you know that at a time when AIA-DMK is trying to fight its own war in its own state, I think this is one of the major planks they are trying to find out, that they are raising the issue in Rajya Sabha. Because I was talking to many opposition leaders, they don't want disruption in Rajya Sabha at least, because they want to raise their issues in Rajya Sabha, and that is why so many notices have come to Rajya Sabha chairman. Venkaiah Naidu himself was telling that I have got many issues and many adjournment motions, but none of them had been accepted. But only one or two political parties are trying to disrupt the House. So I think that government may have to persuade AIA-DMK and DMK to let the House run, because that issue can be sorted out by talking to the central government. So, and opposition leaders are also telling that they will talk to AIA-DMK and DMK not to disrupt the House, so that the proceeding can run smoothly. They are citing example of yesterday when a bill was passed in Rajya Sabha. So they tell that if we want, we can run the House even when there are symbolic processes in the House. So I think the ball is now in the court of opposition, and also government has to persuade AIA-DMK and DMK not to create disruption in the House. Aishwarya.
Right. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates there from Parliament. And the nation is paying homage to the martyrs who sacrificed their lives while defending Parliament House in the terror attack on this day in the year 2001. A function to pay floral tributes to martyrs who sacrificed their lives during the terrorist attack on Parliament on 13th of December 2001 was held in Parliament House premises today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Congress President Rahul Gandhi and many other dignitaries paid floral tributes to the victims of the attack. Politicians across party lines attended the function. President Nath, who is in Myanmar, in a tweet message said that India gratefully remembers those murdered while defending Parliament from terrorists. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that 13th of December is a day to pay homage to those who were martyred and to remind ourselves of the need for a united resolve against a common enemy. Naidu said this in an article titled "When Terror Came to the House," published in a leading daily. And in a Twitter message, Prime Minister Narendra Modi saluted the valor of those who were martyred during the dastardly attack on Parliament on this day in 2001. He said that their courage and heroism inspires every Indian. On to some other news from Jammu and Kashmir now. 2 terrorists have been killed in a gunfight with the security forces in Sopore in Kashmir's Baramulla district. The encounter broke out on Wednesday between militants and security forces. Security forces launched a cordon and search operation in Brat Kalan area of Sopore following information about the presence of militants there. The militants opened fire at the security forces, leading to an encounter. The BJP Parliamentary Party, in its regular meeting during Parliament session today, paid tributes to former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. This is the first session of Parliament after the death of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The meeting, that was chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, also paid obituaries to former Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar and former BJP MP Bhola Singh. Respectful thoughts were also paid to the martyrs of Parliament attack in 2001. BJP President Amit Shah and senior BJP leader Lal Krishna Advani were also present in the meeting that took place in the parliamentary complex. And following this meeting will be a 7-hour marathon meeting of the BJP's key organizational leaders at the party's national headquarters. Party President Amit Shah will preside over the meeting. The meeting is scheduled to start in the afternoon and it will go on well into the evening. Amit Shah is expected to elicit feedback from the party leaders on a host of organizational issues. And moving on to news on government formation developments in the 5 states where elections concluded recently. And after his party swept the Telangana polls, TRS chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao is all set to take oath as the chief minister in a short while from now. He will be sworn in by Governor ESL Narasimhan. And this will be his second consecutive term as the chief minister. He was formally elected as the leader of the legislature party on Wednesday. After the meeting of the legislature party, K. Chandrasekhar Rao met the governors to stake claim to form the government for the second time. KCR led his party to a thumping 2/3 majority, winning 88 out of the 119 assembly seats in the state polls. He himself won his Gajwel seat with a margin of over 50,000 votes. In the election, Congress won 19 seats, while its ally TDP got only 2 seats. AIMIM won 7 and the BJP bagged 1 seat in the state. News from Mizoram, where Mizo National Front President Zoramthanga will be sworn in as the Chief Minister of Mizoram on Saturday. The governor formally invited Zoramthanga on Wednesday to form the next government after receiving the signed notification of the result from the Election Commission officials. The governor also dissolved the State Legislative Assembly during the day to pave the way for the constitution of the next assembly. The MNF returned to power in Mizoram after a decade by bagging 26 seats of the 40-member state legislature, which saw the crumbling of the last Congress bastion in the northeast. The BJP opened its account for the first time in the state, bagging 1 seat. And the Congress party in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh has authorized party President Rahul Gandhi to decide on the chief minister's name for these states. That announcement is likely today. The Congress president said that consultations and inputs from members of the party are ongoing and the decision will be out soon.
Taking input from different people in the party, we're taking input from MLAs, we're taking input from workers. So we're getting a comprehensive answer to what the Congress party and others feel. Yeah, of course, you have to see a chief minister soon.
In Madhya Pradesh, the Congress staked a claim to form the government after emerging as the single largest party. It also has the backing of the BSP and the SP. The top contenders for the post here are Kamal Nath and Jyotiraditya Scindia. The two leaders are in Delhi and are slated to hold a meeting with Rahul Gandhi. And in Rajasthan, the Congress met the governor and staked claim to form the government. Its legislature party passed a single-line resolution authorizing Rahul Gandhi to decide on who should lead them. And among the top contenders here are Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. And in Chhattisgarh, elected Congress MLAs again authorized party President Rahul Gandhi to decide on the chief minister. Among the top contenders are Bhupesh Baghel, T.S. Singhdeo and Charandas Mahant. In midday news, time for a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news.
Located in Old Goa, the Basilica of Bom Jesus is one of the oldest churches in the state. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Basilica holds the mortal remains of Saint Francis Xavier, a 16th century missionary and a pivotal figure in the spread of Christianity outside Europe. Bom Jesus, literally meaning good or holy Jesus, is the term often used in the countries of Portuguese colonization. The construction work on the church began in 1594 and it was consecrated in May 1605. One of the oldest churches in Goa and in India has a marble floor inlaid with precious stones and the main altar holding a large statue of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of Society of Jesus. Styled in Baroque and adorned with the figures of Christ and his apostles at the Last Supper, the altar table is used in Holy Mass. Nestled in the heart of Goa, the place is thronged by hundreds of tourists every day and is also a symbol of India's composite and secular identity.
Welcome back after the break. On to the other top story this afternoon. The Supreme Court has directed all the state governments to modify prison manuals. The Apex Court has said that rights to prisoners should be available in all the states. It further added that there must be access to mental health professionals for prisoners, especially on death row. And the Interpol has issued a red corner notice against absconding businessman Mehul Choksi. Mehul Choksi is accused of cheating a state-run Punjab National Bank to the tune of 13,000 crore rupees in alleged collusion with his nephew Nirav Modi. Now, Choksi, who escaped in the first week of January this year after he and his companies cheated the bank of 7,000 crore rupees, has taken citizenship of Antigua. He appealed against the CBI's application seeking the red corner notice. The CBI has charge-sheeted both Nirav Modi and Choksi separately in the scam. The CBI, in its charge sheet last month, had alleged Choksi swindled over 7,000 crore rupees, making it the country's biggest banking scam. An additional loan default of over 5,000 crore rupees to Choksi's companies is also a matter of probe under the CBI. And the newly appointed Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Shaktikanta will today meet the CEOs and the MDs of public sector banks to discuss issues facing the banking sector. Shaktikanta on Wednesday took charge as the RBI Governor after Urjit Patel stepped down from the post on Monday. And in his first interaction with the media in Mumbai on Wednesday, Das said that he would adopt a consultative approach and move quickly to meet bank chiefs and other parties to tackle issues facing the banking sector.
You know, I will sort of uphold the autonomy and the integrity and the the credibility of the Reserve Bank of India as an institution. And I would believe that the autonomy and independence of the RBI as an institution is very important, and it will be intact.
President Nath is in Yangon on the final leg of his state visit to Myanmar. President Nath today attended the 5th Enterprise India-Myanmar Business Summit, and addressing the gathering, he said Myanmar and India are close neighbours with a binding friendship. He, however, said that at present our trade and investment partnership is modest and that both countries remain equally committed to bring them up.
As Myanmar is seeking to make an economic transition and India has established itself as the fastest growing major economy in the world, the two countries can do much to learn and leverage from each other's competencies. I am happy that the Enterprise India show has brought the best of Indian products, services, innovation and know-how to business partners, startups, incubators and customers in Myanmar.
Later, President Nath visited a temple of goddess Kali, which is managed by a trust represented by people who came to Myanmar from different regions of India. And he also paid respects to Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal dynasty's last emperor, by offering a chadar on his mausoleum in Yangon. Kovind is in Myanmar to continue India's high-level bilateral engagements under the Act East and the Neighbourhood First policies. President Kovind is on a 5-day official visit to Myanmar. Our top international focus now. UK Prime Minister Theresa May has won a vote of confidence in her leadership of the Conservative Party by 200-217. The Prime Minister won the confidence vote with a majority of 83, with 63% of the Conservative MPs backing her and 37% voting against her. The secret ballot was triggered by 48 of her MPs angry at her Brexit policy, which they say betrays the 2016 referendum result. And speaking in Downing Street, May vowed to deliver the Brexit people voted for, but said that she had listened to the concerns of the MPs who voted against her as well. She added that she would be fighting for changes to her Brexit deal at an EU summit on Thursday. However, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who led the calls for the confidence vote, said that losing the support of a third of her MPs was a terrible result for the Prime Minister and called on May to resign.
Whilst I'm grateful for that support, a significant number of colleagues did cast a vote against me, and I've listened to what they said. Following this ballot, we now need to get on with the job of delivering Brexit for the British people and building a better future for this country. A Brexit that delivers on the vote that people gave, that brings back control of our money, our borders and our laws.
At least 7 people were killed and over 45 were injured in a train crash in Turkish capital Ankara. According to reports, a high-speed train collided with another train. The train was travelling between Ankara and the central Turkish province of Konya. Rescue operations are underway. The Ankara governor said that the crash was caused by the high-speed train hitting a locomotive which carries out track inspections. And the United Nations chief has said that failure by countries to agree on rules to implement the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement on global warming would be suicidal. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres told delegates from more than 130 countries meeting in the city of Katowice in Poland that they had less than 3 days to find the political will to reach the difficult compromises, sacrifices and the common ground needed for a deal. The 2-week talks are tasked with breathing life into the Paris Accord, which vows to cap global warming at well under 2 degrees Celsius. Guterres said to waste this opportunity would comprise our last best chance to stop runaway climate change. And on Wednesday, given the complex state of discussions, the Polish presidency of COP24 also proposed a text to act as a new basis for negotiations. Environmental activists and some developing countries also raised concern that the rule book could fall short of pushing countries towards curbing the emissions to meet the Paris climate targets. India at the conference said that the Paris Climate Agreement was non-negotiable and there could be no compromise on the basic principles such as equity and common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities.
Failing here in Katowice would send a disastrous message to those who stand ready to shift to a green economy. So I urge you to find common ground that will allow us to show the world that we are listening, that we care. Developed countries must scale up their contributions to jointly mobilize $100 billion annually by 2020.
All the sporting action now. England and Australia have entered the semi-finals of the Men's Hockey World Cup. In the first quarter-final match played in Bhubaneswar, England defeated Olympic champions Argentina 3-2. Middleton Barry, Calvin Will and Martin Harry were among the goal scorers for the English side, while in the other quarter-final match, two-time defending champions Australia defeated France 3-0. And in today's quarter-final matches, Olympic bronze medalist Germany will face Belgium, while in the second quarter-final match, hosts India will take on the Netherlands. And right now, let's go across to Telangana, where K. Chandrasekhar Rao is taking oath as the new Chief Minister.
రాజ్యాంగాన్ని శాసనాలను అనుసరించి ప్రజలందరికీ న్యాయం చేకూరుస్తానని దైవసాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను. అన్నే నేను కల్వకుంట్ల చంద్రశేఖరరావు అనే నేను తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా నా పరిశీలనకు వచ్చిన లేదా నాకు తెలియవచ్చిన ఏ విషయాన్ని నా కర్తవ్యాలను సక్రమంగా నిర్వహించేందుకు అవసరమైన మేరకు తప్ప ప్రత్యక్షంగా గాని పరోక్షంగా గాని ఏ వ్యక్తికి లేదా వ్యక్తులకు తెలియపరచనని లేదా వెల్లడించనని దైవసాక్షిగా ప్రమాణం చేస్తున్నాను. Sir, with your permission. Sir, with your permission. Now I request Shri Mohammad Mahmood Ali, Minister Designate of State of Telangana, to take the oath of office and secrecy. I request the Honorable Governor to kindly administer the oath of office and secrecy to Shri Mohammad Mahmood Ali, Minister Designate.
All right, so those were the live visuals from Telangana, where KCR, that is the K. Chandrasekhar Rao, has taken oath as the new Chief Minister of Telangana. Remember, it is his second term as the Chief Minister, and his party had got a two-thirds majority in the recently concluded assembly elections in Telangana. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.